face in every sunrise. The colors of the morning are inside your eyes. The world awakens in the light of the day. I look up to the sky and say, you're beautiful. I see your power in the moonlit night, where planets are in motion and galaxies are bright. We are amazed in the light of the stars. It's all proclaiming who you are. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. I see you there hanging on a tree. You bled and then you died and then you rose again for me. Now you are sitting on your heavenly throne. Soon we will be coming home. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. I see you there. When we arrive at eternity's shore, where death is just a memory and tears are no more, we'll enter in as the wedding bells ring. Your bride will come together and we'll sing. You're beautiful. Oh, oh, you're I see your face, you're beautiful, you're beautiful, you're beautiful. I see your face, you're beautiful, you're beautiful, you're beautiful. I see your face, I see your face, I see your face, you're beautiful, you're beautiful, you're beautiful.
Hi everybody, my name is Jason.
I'm Caden.
I'm Jaden.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Eli.
And we are the Yahuwah and the Torah YouTube channel. We are the Yahuwah and the Torah Rumble channel. We are the Yahuwah and the Torah website. And we are your family and you guys are our family. And we truly believe that. And we truly appreciate and love everybody that hangs with us. It is a delight to hang out with people who love our Creator. And our Creator is absolutely worthy to be praised. We are all here again. We've all been blessed. All of us are obviously going through trials and tribulations in our lives. It's the thing that is the end times, right? We're heading towards the end times. Nothing is going to be easy. It's not going to be something that is for people with a light heart. the end times are among us, and the world is completely corrupted. It is completely jacked up. We were having a discussion this morning about how terrible the censorship is, especially on YouTube. The YouTube is the powers that be. Unfortunately, they have developed into a part of the beast system. And the beast system, you cannot say anything on YouTube. We learned that in the year 2020 and 2019 when we couldn't say anything about certain things. And now here we are again. It was yesterday or the day before. I got a strike on a couple of my channels for hate speech. And I was simply putting, I was explaining to people what the Talmud was and verses out of the Talmud. Now, for those who do not know what the Talmud is the books of lore. Things, 200 and some books. It has tons of rules, regulations, all of this stuff. And I was simply putting up a couple of their own verses, which is simply said something to the effect that anybody who's a goy can be shot, robbed, pillaged, all of that kind of stuff. The doctrine that comes out of Judaism is not so great. But we can't really say anything beyond that because we are in a new world order. We are in a world where the one world religion is upon us. You have all of the religions of the earth that are joining together. You have all the governments of the world. They're all joining together. It's essentially everybody is uniting under the hand of Satan. And for those of us with eyes to see and ears to hear, it is very, very clear what is happening right now. And so we have to be very, very careful, even as a Bible reading group of people here on YouTube. It seems like you can't go against any of the other religions that are out there, which is very, very odd. But I guess at the times that we are in, it's not very, very odd. So with that, Jade, if you will read our Shema to us, please. Yep.
Hear, O Yisrael, Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah is one. You shall love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart, with all your being, and with all your might. And these words that I'm commanding you today shall be in your heart, and you shall impress them upon your children, and shall speak of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up, and shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be frontlets between your eyes, and you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Mr. Jade. And for those who have never ever heard or read along with us on any of this stuff, what you will read and what you will find that this what we believe is a family, and there's 5 of us here that live out in the middle of a like right at the edge of South America, Central America. We live out in the middle of the jungle, isolated far away from everybody else, off grid. We don't have any neighbors. We don't have anything out there, but we have our friends, which are you guys, and we very much love you guys. The camaraderie that you guys have, and we have, along with where we're at, we have 9 pit bulls. And if you guys could actually see a webcam outside of the actual live stream we're doing, you would see that the place is extremely chaotic. And that's Leo that's made a point that it is chaotic. And so you could lean to the left, you could lean to the right, and there are dogs all around us. So my apologies for all of that. All right, so what we are going to do is we are going to do what they do through every scriptures, for every Sabbath back in the days as they went through. Actually, Miss Nicole says I need to read that. Mr. Cade needs to give us a prayer first. Mr. Cade, can you lead us in prayer real quick?
As a humble family, united, seeking your ways in the Torah, seeking your ways of life, and we ask that it is counted to us for righteousness, that you find us your people, you find us to be the people who you have chosen, that you will be calling out of these lands, out of the lands of scattered, out of the lands of foreign nations, out of the lands of idolatry, and we ask that you continue to bless us, that you continue to guide us on these paths, and that your Shabbat today is sanctified, that is blessed how you want it to be blessed. We ask that your Torah reading today is how you want us to read it, that all of the words come from you today. Everything that was put on our hearts comes from you. We thank you for this day in Yoshua's name. Amen.
All right. Thank you, Cade. Okay, so here we are. What we do every Shabbat is we go over the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator. And before we do that, Mr. Cole, can you give a shout out? Maybe it doesn't need to be quick, but you can give us a shout out if you would to everybody in the chat.
All right, we have Mama CA.
Hi, Mama CA.
We have Ruby and Candy.
All right.
Bonecat 1.
Hi, Bonecat.
Jeremy. Irma Saber.
What's up, Jeremy? Irma.
Rosie Chica.
Hi, Rosie.
Jeannie, Not of This World.
Jeannie.
Brother Glenn.
Brother Glenn. Hopefully Moraina's not too far behind.
Days Rainey. Sylvia. Worldwide Widow.
What is up, my friends?
And I think I got everybody.
All right,
Oh,
well,
Chris just joined too.
oh, and yeah, Chris from the old Bobby Z channel, now with OB Lines. What is up, brother, too? And brothers and sisters, how are we? Really appreciate you guys and hanging out with us, reading as we're reading. Now what we're going to do is we are going to roll through the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator. These laws, statutes, and commandments are wonderful things. They are things that the majority of the world doesn't care about. It doesn't interest them. They don't want this in their lives. They don't need it in their lives, according to them. And it is things that, for people like us, it is things that we can't have enough of in our lives. We can't have enough of Yah's ways. We have a creator of the universe who was willing to design each and every one of us to perfection, give us a life, give us a soul, breathe into us the breath of life. And he has stated that, hey, you know, if you would like to be my children, if you like my ways, if you like what I do, if you like my ingenuity, if you like my total being, I'm going to give you some laws. I'm going to give you some statutes. I'm going to give you some commandments that if you guys will take these and write them on your hearts, write them on your minds, write them on your souls, I, Yahuwah, will be your Elohim, and you will be my people. That's the only requirements that we have. You can look at Revelation 14:12. It clearly says the people that are saved are the people who keep the commandments of our Creator and have the faith of Messiah Yahushua. Now, gentlemen, who is Messiah Yahushua for those who do not know? Anyone?
Messiah Yahushua is the Son of our Creator, the one who came down and died for our sins, who was put on the stake, and basically the penalty of death.
So he did away with the law?
No, he did away with the penalty of death.
Okay, well, from what I've heard from the Christians, the law has been abolished. Can anyone give us a little bit into the abolishment? How did that work out? What exactly does that mean? Anyone?
Well, there was no such thing as the abolishment of death. We never got what was called the abolishment of, never got the abolishment of the Torah, because the Torah was still, in fact, used after Yahushua was long gone. We saw Paul was using it. We saw Peter was using it. We saw John was using it. Everyone was there, was still following the Torah. They were keeping the feasts. They were still not eating pig. There were many examples of them still using it, and it wasn't actually done away with by the people until like 300 AD. People said, okay, we don't need to follow this anymore.
Yeah, and sorry guys, that is our roof, and I showed a picture in one of our Telegram groups of what our roof is. Our roof is little pieces of tin right above our heads, and so as the sun and rain beat onto the roof, it makes what you hear like little drummers. So I guess we could just say it's special effects and maybe put some music along with it, but unfortunately it is not. Now, so Messiah didn't abolish the law. What do we make of the people that will quote Paul and say the law has been abolished, Jade?
Well, they had taken Paul out of context. You have to understand that Paul was writing to a certain group of people, and you are not those group of people. You're not Roman. You're not from Corinth. You're not those people. And he was writing those people for certain situations, and we don't know what the other half of the letter says that they're asking questions about. We only see what he responded with, so we can't apply it to our lives if we don't know what the other half was talking about.
So if Paul tells us the law is gone, what do we make of that? Because the other 6/8 of the book tell us that the law is not gone, that it's all about obedience, that our Creator wants us in a covenant with Him. How do we make the writings of Paul? It's in Scripture, so it must be very important. So why don't we do what Paul says and keep the law abolished?
Because we don't serve Paul. Paul is not our Elohim. We don't worship him. He didn't do anything for us. He didn't create the world for us. He didn't send his son to die for us. He is just a man that was chosen to preach the gospel.
Yeah, and you know that's the crazy thing about our brother Paul is that even in the book of Acts, when we're talking about things that are at the behest of more than two witnesses, we don't have any other witnesses other than Paul talking about himself, what happened to himself. And in fact, the 3 different accounts that we have in Acts all are different. They all talk a little bit different when this is going on. And so when you will take letters to other churches, to other places, to other assemblies, and you write this as doctrine, and you say that because Paul says that I don't need the law, which clearly, very clearly, if you read Romans and you very clearly read Galatians, Those two books, if I had a choice, yes, and I know everyone's going to throw rocks at me, I would toss those two books out of the Bible. There's things inside of those books that you cannot defend, and it's very, very hard to defend. And us here at this channel, the biggest thing that we do constantly is unfortunately offend the Christians. And the Christians will come at us, and the very first thing they all say is, Paul said. And so if we are taking a doctrine of what Paul said, then we are making him our Elohim. We are serving Paul. And like Jaden said, Paul didn't come to die for us. Paul did not come and create a world for us. He's not our creator. He's just a man. And we have to be very, very careful that if we are taking doctrine outside of Torah, anything that is what we think is contrary to Torah it goes back to the biblical hermeneutics, to where what is precedent, what has been presented before cannot be changed at the end. So if you think the laws of our Creator are gone because of the words that Brother Paul says at the end of his book, then we need to go back to the front of the book and bring this foundation back to life. Okay, what do you have, Mr. Cole?
Ruby has a question.
What's up, Mr. Ruby?
Does being fruitful and multiply go hand in hand with Paul saying women are saved through bearing children? Or is it more of his Talmudic background?
Being fruitful, now being fruitful and multiplying, I mean, Jade, you just finished up the letters of Paul's again, right?
Yeah.
Being fruitful and multiplying is a very huge command. It's one of the commands that we have as a society, as a world, as a place, we have totally violated, right? There's abortion clinics on nearly every corner of every place in the U.S., across the world. Israel has abortion clinics all over. Now, what is the question again?
But Paul saying women are saved through childbearing, or is that more of his Talmudic background?
What do you make of this, Jay?
Okay, so I would say it's Talmudic background, because he says they have salvation by bearing children, which isn't necessarily true, because that's just Paul saying, but it is commanded to bear fruit and multiply. Paul also says that people shouldn't marry and people shouldn't have kids, so...
And there's a tremendous amount. That's the thing with Paul, is you got to differentiate the Talmud versus the Torah. And as brilliant and astute as Brother Paul was, sometimes it feels like he gets things intermixed. One of the things is that we have with widows, right? One of the things that you don't see anywhere in Torah at all, but Paul is writing to them, is about how to qualify what a widow is. And according to him, she has to be over 60 years old. There's a huge list of requirements that it needs to be for a widow. Now, does this make what Brother Paul is saying incorrect? Well, no. What it has to do, the situation that he's trying to deal with, we are simply eavesdropping a bunch of letters that we have no idea what in the world is happening. We're dealing with problems of little assemblies that were obviously going through some kind of trauma and going through all kinds of stuff. This is where, if Paul's writings encourage us to stop keeping the law and it affects your faith, then you need to get rid of Paul and go back to the Torah until you are so foundationally strong in the Torah that nothing can take you away. And that's the strength of the Torah. When you read the first 5 books over and over and over, once you understand the heart, mind, and soul of our Creator, then you will understand anything outside of it. It will take you to school. Eli, will you please pet the dog? Are anything, and I'm not talking about anything. I'm talking about the Jehovah's Witnesses that come knocking on your door. If you have the Torah in your hand, in your heart, in your mind, in your soul, then it doesn't matter what they say, because your faith will never get messed with, because you understand what the real doctrine is. And so I'm not bashing on Paul, but what I'm saying is that if Paul leads you astray because of some of the stuff he says, then go back to the foundations until you are more secure, and then go back to Paul. In fact, Peter wrote us a warning. He's like, look, Paul's writings are hard to understand. He's like, it will lead you guys to Torahlessness. It will lead you guys to the destruction. You got to be wise to do it. And so that is why we go over these laws, statutes, and commandments that we go over every single week, because we're trying to ingrain these in anybody's heart, mind, and soul that is willing to listen. Did that establish it? Did we get that done, Ruby? All right, so hopefully that is it. All right, here we go. Now, let's go over law, statutes, and commands. Guys, I'm going to have you guys read so I can kind of watch the chat as we go through. So let's hit it, boys.
Be fruitful.
Multiply.
Replenish the earth. Subdue it. Have dominion over the fish, fowl, and every living creature.
Bearing every every tree is for food.
Okay, slow it down, guys. We're not on a quest. We don't have 60 minutes and that's it. We got 64 minutes. Let's go.
Man and woman should build their own families.
Master sin.
Every clean moving thing that lives shall be food for you.
Do not eat the blood.
Walk before me, be perfect.
Guard Yahuwah's covenant, laws, statutes, and commandments.
Every male shall be circumcised at 8 days old.
Teach your children the commands and guard the way of Yahuwah.
Remember Yahuwah's name for all generations.
Keep the Passover. Pesach.
Keep the feast of unleavened bread, festival of Massah.
There is one Torah for the stranger and one for the Hebrew.
Sanctify all firstborn to Yahuwah.
There are no mighty ones before Yahuwah.
You shall not make graven images.
Do not bring Yahuwah's name to naught.
Keep the Shabbat.
Honor your parents.
Let's quickly touch on this, on the keeping the Shabbat, because as you know, and that's the crazy thing is I've drawn the short stick a few times, and I've actually had to go over the books of Paul, and I have a huge problem with it. And when you start reading Torah and you start going into the books of Paul, what he says is completely different than what Torah says, and you have to like study every single verse. You have to study every single chapter. You have to understand, try to figure out what in the world he's even talking about. But there's one of his things that he says, don't let people judge you on the day you worship. Don't let people judge you on the food you eat. Don't let any, the Christians, and yes, we all have understanding and knowledge what Paul was trying to say in a lot of these situations. But these are the words that the Christians will use when you speak to them about keeping the Shabbat day. They're like, well, Paul said, nobody should judge me on the day I worship. Okay, well, what does Elohim say? What does the Elohim Most High, the creator of the universe, who Paul is simply a created entity of the creator of the universe? What does our creator say? And he says very clearly, there's a day that is separate than all the other days, a day of rest that we are to change. And we're not to keep Shabbat like the Christians who are keeping a day on the wrong day, where they're going out to worship in a temple made by hands of man, where they go out and pay people afterwards to go eat and do all this stuff. And so if you take something, take the words of Paul and don't judge somebody on the day they worship. He is not talking about people that are outside. He's talking about people that have problems, that their Gentile friends are coming to them and going, why are you worshiping on Shabbat? Why are you eating clean foods, right? And the Christians spin that completely around to where it's opposite of what he's even saying, right? Okay, continue on. One of my favorite ones. Who's taking this one?
Honor your parents.
Ah, thank you.
Do not kill.
Do not break wedlock.
Do not steal.
Do not make false accusations against your neighbor.
Do not covet anything of your neighbor's.
Do not make an altar from a rock that a tool has touched.
Do not go up to the altar by the steps.
A man steals cattle, he shall restore it 5 times.
Yahuwah's Torah, laws for criminals.
Do not lie with beasts.
No sacrifice to other Elohim.
Do not oppress a stranger, fatherless, or widow.
Do not charge your brother interest.
If you borrow your neighbor's raiment, return to him before sunset.
Do not curse the ruler of your people.
Do not eat what is torn of any beast.
No false report.
Do not follow the multitude of evil.
Do not judge unrighteously against the poor.
Bring back your enemy's cattle if you find they're going astray.
Help the animals of your enemy.
Stay away from rumors and gossipers.
Take no bribes.
Do not oppress a stranger. Love the stranger.
Give your land rest in the 7th year.
Do not mention any pagan names.
Keep the feast of Yahuwah.
Do not cook your goat in his mother's milk.
Obey the messenger Yahuwah sends before you.
Do not bow down to other Elohim.
Serve Yahuwah.
Make no covenant with other Elohim or outsiders of the land.
Do not make her use this anointing oil on an old person. Do not make her use this perfume on an old person.
Do not eat the fat.
Do what you say you're going to do.
Return what is your neighbor's.
Obey Yahuwah's dietary laws.
Women's time of separation.
Obey Yahuwah's hygiene laws.
Keep the Day of Atonement, Yom HaKippurim.
Do not uncover the nakedness of your family.
Do not take your woman's sister for a wife.
Do not lie with a woman in her uncleanness.
You shall not sacrifice your children to Moloch.
Do not be a sodomite.
Be Kodesh.
Do not reap the corners of your field, or you shall not glean your vineyard.
All right,
Yeah.
pause.
All right, what do you got?
Ruby says, do not cook goat in a mother's milk. What's that mean?
So what do we figure out? That was like a pagan thing, right?
Yeah,
that was like
I think it's just kind of a thing. You have the milk and you go and cook the baby and like the milk. I think it's just kind of a sick thing. God doesn't want you like doing that.
yeah, this was so. What we always figured out from this is that it was a pagan thing, and it was like part of what the pagans did. It was such a big deal that it was made into a command, and so just like the birds that you're supposed to take the nest but not leave the mother, or vice versa, right? You're not supposed to take both of them and wipe them out in the very same thing. Brother Glenn, I don't know if you're still over there. You might have a little more on this. Maybe Jeremy can pop up in the chat there a little bit more as far as that goes. But as far as we know, it's completely to do with
The pagans.
Yeah, the pagans and the pagan ways and what they do. Okay, and we'll find it. We'll find actually something a little bit better on that because that's a very good question. Keep those questions coming, Ruby. We need to be kept on our toes. Definitely. Okay. Next.
72.
72.
Do not deal falsely or defraud your neighbor.
Do not lie or be a liar.
Pay your workers for the day's wage they're due.
Do not harm the disabled.
Do not endanger your neighbor.
Do not hate your brother.
Rebuke your neighbor for his sin.
Love your neighbor as yourself.
Do not diverse your cattle.
Do not mingle your seed.
Do not mingle linen and wool.
Do not lie with a taken woman.
Do not eat the fruit of the trees for 3 years.
Do not practice sorcery.
Do not round your beard or the corners of your head.
Do not cut yourself for the dead.
Do not get tattoos.
Do not prostitute your daughter.
Do not defile your temple.
Do not consult the medium.
Respect your elders.
Have correct weights and measures.
Do not walk in the manners of the nations.
Keep the feasts of first fruits, Shavuot, Omer Count, and Pentecost.
Keep the feast of trumpets, Yom Torah.
Keep the feast of Sukkot, Shem Atzeret.
If you blaspheme the name of Yahuwah, you shall be put to death.
If you kill your neighbor's animal, you must give another.
Repay injury for injury.
Honor the Yobel, Jubilee year.
Okay, stop
Right.
for a second.
All right. What do you got?
Do not mingle your seed. Double meaning?
I think that has to do with
Which command was that?
No, I think mingling your
This
seed
is
had
the-
one meaning.
This is talking about planting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what commandment is it?
Leviticus 19:19.
Yeah, but what commandment?
Oh,
On this
Yeah,
list.
just go up a little bit.
Okay.
It's,
Read the commandment for us, Jade.
Oh, we'll get there.
Oh, is it way back there?
It's Leviticus 19.
Oh yeah. Do not mingle your seed. Yeah. So Leviticus 19:19. Let's read that.
All right, hold it.
And while you're finding that, Jeremy and Glenn says that he sent a document, it's on our website, about that. And
Oh.
then Jeremy says paganism is something you have to research more as well, or he has to research it. But it doesn't mean that you can't eat meat and drink milk at the same time.
No. It's about literally taking the milk from the mother and cooking the baby in that mother's own milk. Okay, Jade, read that for me.
Okay. You shall guard my statutes. You shall not let your cattle gender with a diverse kind. You shall not sow your field with a mingled seed.
Yeah.
Neither shall a garment of mingled linen and woolen come upon you.
Okay, so yeah, this is exactly what it's talking about with mingling the seed is that, and I guess the very first thing is somewhere over and in Japan I've seen this is where they will take like an entire 50 different kinds of seeds and they will put it in their hand and they will have their field and they just throw that out there and it just becomes a ginormous field of crossbred plants. And so what the meaning of this is that when you are producing that you like say for instance for us down here and the effects of what we've seen down here is that all the corn down in South America is completely destroyed. It's when you get a bag of corn feed, you probably end up with 60 different kinds of corn. And so if you decide you're going to plant your field with this corn, you end up with a horrible crop. The seeds are all, the corn is all messed up. It just doesn't go well. And when you plant other kinds of crops in a field, the pollination processes our Creator has, some things, like you're not even, it's supposed to be miles away. What was it we did about the other day? Some seed that was supposed to be miles away that we saw that...
It was ones that I planted, and I can't remember what it was.
we planted some the other day. And Jeremy says it's getting real dark. Brother, you should get some pictures of that. Shoot that into Telegram when you can, please. I'd love to see that. Still pretty light here. I don't think it's going to be happening here. So, essentially, what it's talking about is talking about a pure-blooded field, right? If you're going to plant corn, plant all the exact same kind. Don't throw 5 different kinds of corn in there. Same for all of the watermelons, all this kind of stuff. Keep your seeds pure so that your fields are pure. And it all comes down to the pollination and the way that these seeds and the way Yah stuff works is if you have all the runted and grunted stuff that is all together, it all kind of breeds with itself out in the field and you just get really bad crops. So hopefully that makes sense. All right, next, gentlemen, what do we got?
If 99.
99.
I think, yeah. If you kill your neighbor's animal, you must give him another.
Repay injury for injury.
Honor the Yobel, Jubilee year.
Confess your sins to Yahuwah and repay who you have trespassed against.
The Torah of being a Nazir.
Or as easy on the 4 corners of your garments.
Laws of whoever touches a corpse.
Follow Yahuwah's law of inheritance.
The Torah of keeping your oath to Yahuwah.
Do not add or take away from the word.
Guard your soul.
Learn to fear Yahuwah.
You shall love Yahuwah with all your heart.
Bind the Torah laws upon your hands and the frontlets between your eyes.
Write the Torah laws on your doorposts.
Do not tempt Yahuwah.
Do what is right and good in the sight of Yahuwah.
Do not be afraid of your enemies.
Remember Yahuwah.
Circumcise your heart.
Cleave to Yahuwah.
Swear by his name.
Destroy graven images.
Do not make an idol of Yahuwah as the pagans do to their Elohim.
Rejoice in all Yahuwah has blessed you with.
Do not do what is right in your own eyes.
Do not hearken to the words of false Nebiim prophets.
Do not make any boldness in your eyes for the dead.
You shall not eat any abominable thing.
You shall give to a stranger clean food that dies of itself, but you shall not eat of it.
Give tithe of your increase of seed year by year.
The law is the end of the 7-year lease.
Do not borrow from the nations.
Do not harden your heart, nor shut your hand from the poor.
Guard month 1 of Yahuwah's calendar.
3 times a year all males shall appear before Yahuwah.
You shall make judges and officers in all your gates.
Do not plant Asherah poles near the altar.
There must be 2 or 3 witnesses.
Hearken unto the Naui, prophet Yahuwah has chosen.
Now I prophetess of Deuteronomy.
Do not remove your neighbor's property line.
How to deal with a false witness among Torah keepers.
The first child get double portions.
If your brother's cattle or clothes are lost, and you find them, you must return them.
A woman should not wear what pertains to a man, nor a man wear what pertains to a woman.
If you have babies or eggs, take the babies and not the mother.
If you build a new house with a flat roof that is able to be lived on, you must put a railing around it.
Do not be a prostitute.
Do not use dirty money.
Torah, law of divorce.
Do not take a person's millstone for pledge.
If you lend to your brother, do not enter his house to get your payment. He must bring it to you, return his clothing before sunset, if that was his pledge.
Do not oppress a hired servant that is poor and needy.
Every man shall be put to death for his own sin.
Do not go back with rotten sheaf in the field. Leave it for the stranger, fatherless and widow.
Do not muzzle your ox when he treads out grain.
If your brother dies and has no child, you shall take his wife and name the firstborn after your brother.
At the end of the 7 years, you are to read the Torah and the feast of Sukkot.
All right. So, folks, that is the laws of our Creator, give or take. There's not a tremendous amount of them. And when people actually listen to them, people that have common sense say, hey, those actually don't sound too bad. And the problem is, the effect of it is, if you don't like some of the laws, then which ones do you want to get rid of? I mean, should we just have a blanket? Should we get rid of everything the Creator has told us to do? Or would that be foolish? And for most people, they just don't care. And so we of this family, we think it's not foolish. We think it's very, very important. And we live on the chat room, Mr. Cole?
No.
Okay, so guys, what we're going to be reading out of Exodus today, and at the bottom translation is the Scriptures, and it is a let's see what they're saying here. Yeah, they're talking about the eclipse there. Yeah, definitely keep us informed on the eclipse and what's happening down with that, for sure. Okay.
I sent some pictures in the Telegram.
Oh, did he?
I don't know if you wanted to-
Okay, I'm sure Telegram would blow up and blow everything to bits. Okay, so here we go. So the recap for anybody, and I know these recaps are getting, we do too many readings to get a recap right. We're in Exodus 9. Tell us about where we did to make it to Exodus 9, this part.
We all know Genesis. We've been through Genesis. We get to Moses. He is told to go see Pharaoh. He is told to set the people free. But he also said, I'm going to harden Pharaoh's heart. So now we're in this 3 or 4 plagues, and Pharaoh still hardened his heart. The magicians cannot now replicate the same powers. Yahuwah has stopped their powers from being replicated. So now it's just the Israelites with full control of power. Now they're about to run another play on Pharaoh to let the people free.
Okay. Anyone else have anything else on that?
Nope, I don't think so.
Okay. Here we go. Eli, you ready to read after this?
Yep.
Okay. 9. And Yahuwah said to Moshe, go into Pharaoh and speak to him. Thus said Yahuwah, Elohim of the Ephraim, let my people go, so that they serve me. For if you refuse to let them go, and still hold them, see the hand of Yahuwah is on your livestock in the field, on the horses, on the donkeys, on the camels, on the cattle, and on the sheep, a very grievous pestilence. And Yahuwah shall separate between the livestock of Yisrael and the livestock of Mizraim, and let no matter die of all that belongs to the children of Yisrael. And Yahuwah made an appointed time, saying, tomorrow Yahuwah is going to do this word in the land. And Yahuwah did this word on the next day, and all the livestock of Mizraim died. But of the livestock of the children of Yisrael, not one died. Then Pharaoh sent, and see, not even one of the livestock of the Israelites was dead. But the heart of Pharaoh was hardened, and he did not let the people go. Okay, Eli, let's take it away. This is at the Targums, guys. This is yet another translation. It's got some bones in it, so we push our way through it. We don't want any kind of leaven in our stuff, but it does make for an interesting read sometimes and some decent discussion. So, hit it.
And Yahuwah said to Moshe, go into Pharaoh, and say to him, thus says Yahuwah, the Elohim of the Hebrews, emancipate my people, that they may worship before me. But if you refuse to release, Until this time you have constrained them. Behold, the stroke of Yahuwah's hand shall be as it has not been yet, upon your cattle there in the field, upon your horses, and upon the donkeys, upon the camels, oxen, and sheep, with a very mighty death. And Jerusalem says, celebration. And Yahuwah will work wonders between the flocks of Yasharel and the flocks of Mizri, that not any of those which belong to the sons of Yasharel shall die. And Yahuwah said at a time, saying, Tomorrow will Yahuwah do this thing in the land. And Yahuwah did that thing the day after, and all the cattle of the Mizri died, but of the cattle of the sons of Yasharel not one died. And Pharaoh sent certain to look, and, behold, not one of the cattle of the sons of Yasharel had died, not even one. But the disposition of Pharaoh's heart was aggravated, and he would not release the people.
All right, so let's talk about this, right? I don't know how many of you guys out there actually have like animals, large animals and things of that nature, but large animals, when they die, you got to deal with them. So it's a little down here in the jungles, it's a little easier for us because if we don't deal with them, the rest of the animals come and deal with them, and they'll be stripped down to like almost gone in the side of 3 or 4 days. But what do you guys make of this? We're talking a tremendous amount of animals. We're talking these things all died. They probably have, about 15 hours in the sun before things start getting really reeky, like it's starting to get really bad. And they didn't have tractors back in the day. They didn't have any of this stuff. They're going to have to take fields of the dead, and they're going to do something with it, or the place is going to become it's going to reek. It's going to be really, really bad.
There's not enough people to bury that many animals.
Yeah, I don't think there is either. And so it's going to, the lands of Mitzrayim were probably rotted. They were probably just smelled really, really bad. Okay, anyone else have anything here?
I think Pharaoh should probably let them go.
Yeah, he should probably let them go, but he's not. And so let's continue on. And Yahuwah said to Moshe and Aaron, fill your hands with ashes from a furnace, and let Moshe scatter it toward the Shamayim before the eyes of Pharaoh. And it shall become fine dust in all the land of Mitzrayim. And it shall cause boils that break out in sores on man and beast in all the land of Mitzrayim. So they took ashes from the furnace and stood before Pharaoh, and Moshe scattered them toward the Shamayim, and they caused boils breaking out in sores on man and beast. And the magicians were unable to stand before Moshe because of the boils, for the boils were on and on all the Mitzrites. But Yahuwah hardened the heart of Pharaoh, and he didn't listen to them, as Yahuwah had said to Moshe. Okay.
Something in Jasher was that when they were going over, Yahuwah was explaining how he took care of all the Israelites, he said that he struck the magicians with like ulcers and a whole bunch of horrible stomach pains that couldn't even stand up.
Yeah, no, this is not good. Yeah, that's the wrath of our Creator, the Elohim Most High that built us. There's a tremendous amount of problems that we can end up with, and it's best if we are not in the hands of Hasatan. It's best that we allow our Creator to give us the best that He's going to give us, and that's not going to stop us from having affliction. That's not going to stop us from we're not going to walk these lands without some sort of problems. We're all going to have problems, especially if we're Torah keepers. But our Creator knows this, and even if we have to walk these lands with afflictions, we know that we're in the hands of our Creator. So let's continue on. Eli.
And Yahuwah said to Moshe and to Aaron, take with your hands full of fine ashes from the furnace, and let Moshe sprinkle them towards the height of the heavens and the sight of Pharaoh. And the dust shall be upon all the land of Mizraim, upon man and upon beast, for a boil, producing tumors in the land of Mizraim. And they took ashes of the furnace, and it arose to meet Pharaoh, and Moshe sprinkled them toward the height of the heavens, and there came a boil multiplying tumors upon man and beast. And the astrologers could not stand before Moshe on account of the boil, for the plague of the boil was upon the astrologers and upon the Mizri. And Yahuwah hardened the design of Pharaoh's heart, and he would not hearken to them, as Yahuwah had said to Moshe.
Okay. All right, so we are on 13 here. Okay, so anyone have anything? Bad boils, he calls them tumors. Here, obviously, anyone that's ever had a boil, they suck.
At this point, I imagine all the Egyptians are around all this, were just begging Pharaoh to let them go. They've had enough. They're just they didn't really do much. They're just now they're just in the mix of it. And they're just please let them go.
Yeah, I would agree. Okay, 13. And Yahuwah said to Moshe, rise early in the morning and stand before Pharaoh and say to him, thus says Yahuwah Elohim of the Ephraim, let my people go, so that they serve me. For at this time I am sending all my plagues unto your heart, and on your servants, and on your people. Know that there is no one like me in all the earth. Now, if my hand has struck you and your people with pestilence, then you would have been cut off from the earth. And for this reason I have raised you up, in order to show you my power, and in order to declare my name in all the earth. You still exalt yourselves against my people, in that you do not let them go. See, tomorrow, about this time, I am causing very heavy hail to rain down, such as not been in Mitzrayim from the day of its founding until now. And now, send, bring your livestock to safety, and all that you have in the field. For the hail shall come down on every man and every beast which is found in the field and is not brought home, and they shall die. Okay, now those are some massive hailstones.
They're big.
Yeah, and
My size, they're like tennis balls or bigger.
yeah, oh, absolutely. And these things coming flying out of the sky. There's not much hope if you're out in the middle of a field and you have these softball-sized hailstones coming at you. It's going to mess you up.
I wonder what the conversation of Moses and Aaron was like after this. They're just like, this is crazy.
Run for your lives. Let's get inside.
Yeah, they're just like, now we're gonna like throw hail on people. Let's go.
Crazy. All right.
So my question is, how do they still have livestock?
Well, this was probably the next day, a couple days afterwards. All their cattle are dead. They probably all ran off to the next neighboring place and probably grabbed some more if they have anything at all. Maybe they didn't all die.
I was thinking
Maybe.
this is more like the children of Israel, like their cattle. They're like bring in the house.
Anything that is outside, right? Bring your dogs in, bring your goats in, bring everything, absolutely everything in, because it's all going to be annihilated with stones of ice from the Shemaim. Okay.
And Yahuwah said to Moshe, Arise in the morning, and place yourself before Pharaoh, and say to him, Thus says Yahuwah, the Elohim of the Hebrews, a man say my people, that they may worship before me. For at this time I will send upon you a plague from the heavens, and all my plagues wherewith I have plagued you will cause to return upon your heart, and upon your servants, and upon your people, which have been sent from before me, and not from the magic of the sons of men, that you may know that there is none like me in all the earth. Now could I send the justice of my strength by judgment.
Hold on. Try that one again.
Now could I send the plague of my strength by judgment to strike you and your people with death and destroy you from the earth. But verily I have spared you alive, not that I may benefit you, but that my power may be made manifest to you, and that my set apart name may be known in all the earth. Until now you have tyrannized tyrannized over my people instead of releasing them. Jerusalem says relentlessly. Behold, at this time tomorrow I will cause to come down from the treasures of the heavens a mighty hail, the like of which has never been in Mizraim since the day when men were settled upon it until now. But now stand, gather together your flocks and all that you have in the field, upon all men and cattle that are found in the field, and not gathered together within the house will the hail will come down, and they will die.
So I'm thinking that they had a whole bunch of sheep in their house, a whole bunch of goats in their house. Anything that they wanted saved probably had to come into the house for the.
Egypt's just a mess.
Egypt is a mess at this point. Absolutely. Okay. All right. 20.
The boils go away? You think the boils went away? Or are they still putting all their animals in the boils?
I don't know. I have no idea. And even when the boils go away, did the boils really go away, or are they like all scarred up now? Who knows? Okay. 20. Those among the servants of Pharaoh who revered the word of Yahuwah made their servants and livestock flee to the houses. But those who did not lay their heart on the word of Yahuwah left their servants and livestock in the field.
I assume that's the people that listened to the Egyptians, or the people that probably left with him too.
Yeah, there's probably at some point there's probably some people that were like, oh, okay, something's happening here. Let's go this way when Pharaoh's going this way or something.
People are enough to like destroy Egypt. They're probably, yeah, we probably shouldn't mess with these guys.
Probably. 22. Then Yahuwah said to Moshe, Stretch out your hand toward the Shemaim, and let there be hail in all the land of Mitzrayim, on man and on beast, and every plant of the field throughout the land of Mitzrayim. Then Moshe stretched out his rod toward the Shemaim, and Yahuwah sent thunder and hail, and fire came down to the earth, and Yahuwah rained hail on the land of Mitzrayim. Thus there came to be hail, and fire flashing continually in the midst of the hail, very heavy, such as had been in all the land of Mitzrayim since it became a nation. And the hail smote in all the land of Mitzrayim all that was in the field, both man and beast. And the hail smote every plant of the field and broke every tree of the field. Only in the land of Goshen, where the children of Yisrael were, there was no hail. Pharaoh then sent and called for Moshe and for Aaron and said to them, I have sinned this time. Yahuwah is righteous, and my people and I are wicked. Pray to Yahuwah, for there has been enough of the thunder and hail of Elohim, and I am letting you go, so that you stay no longer. And Moshe said to him, As soon as I go out of the city, let me spread out my hands to Yahuwah. Let the thunder cease and the hail be no more, so that you know that the earth belongs to Yahuwah. But as for you and your servants, I know that you do not yet fear before Elohim.
Job, who reverenced the word of Yahuwah among the servants, gathered together his servants and his flocks within the house.
What?
Yep.
What did that say?
And
That wasn't even the same verse.
yeah, that was 20.
Why does it say that? What's it say on our?
It was something about Pharaoh's servants.
Why does it say what?
Said those among
Hiob?
Job, I don't know.
So those must have been people that were among the servants of Pharaoh.
Yeah, those among the servants of Pharaoh who reverenced the word of Yahuwah made their servants livestock flee to houses.
All right, interesting. All right, carry on, good friend.
Yeah. 21. But Balaam, who had not set his heart upon the word of Yahuwah, left his servants and his flocks in the field. And Yahuwah said to Moshe, uplift your hand towards the height of the heaven, land of Mizraim, upon men and upon beasts, and the field in the land of Mizraim. And Moshe lifted up his rod toward the height of the heavens, and Yahuwah gave forth thunders and hailstones with flaming fire upon the ground. Yahuwah made the hail descend upon the land of Mizraim. And there was hail, and fire darting among the hail with exceeding force, unto it had never been like in all land of Mizraim, ever since it was a nation and a kingdom. And the hail smote in all land of Mizraim, whatsoever was in the field, of men and of cattle. And all the herbs of the field the hail smote, and every tree of the field it shattered and uprooted. Only the land of Goshen, where the children of Yasharel were, there was no hail. And Pharaoh sent certain to call Moshe and Aaron, and he said to them, this time I have sinned. I know that Yahuwah is a righteous Elohim, and that I and my people have observed every one of these plagues. Intercede before Yahuwah, that with him it may be enough, and that there may be no more malatory thunders nor hail from the presence of Yahuwah, that I release you and no longer hinder. And Moshe said to him, when I have gone out from you into the city, I will spread my prayers in my hand. I will spread my hands in prayer before Yahuwah, and the thunder shall cease, and there shall be no more hail, that you may know that the earth is Yahuwah's. But I know that you and your servants release the people, and they will have to be afraid before Yahuwah Elohim.
Okay. All right. So
It's a really scary week for the Egyptians.
scary times of the Egyptians, definitely, and definitely a place you wouldn't want to be, and tests that you wouldn't want to be into. 31 in Yah Scriptures. And the flax and the barley were smitten, for the barley was in the head and the flax was in bud. But the wheat and the spelt were not smitten, for they were late crops. And Moshe went out of the city from Pharaoh and spread out his hands to Yahuwah. And the thunder and the hail ceased, and the rain was not poured on the earth. And Pharaoh saw that the rain and the hail and the thunder had ceased. Yet he sinned again, and he hardened his heart, he and his servants. And the heart of Pharaoh, as Yahuwah had said through Moshe. At some level, it's like the poor Egyptians, the poor Mitzrayites. Their leader just keeps rolling them under the bus. Okay.
And the flax and the barley were beaten down, because the barley was in the ear, and the flax was making pods. And in Jerusalem, flax was making pods, for it had cast its flowers. 32. But the wheat and the spelt were not smitten, because they are later. And Moshe and Aaron went out from Pharaoh to the suburb, and he stretched out his hands in prayer before Yahuwah, and the thunders of the curse were withheld, and the hail and rain that were sending came not on the earth. And Pharaoh saw that the rain and hail and the thunders of the curse had ended, and he added to sin, and made strong the design of his heart, both he and his servants. And Pharaoh's heart was made obstinate, and he would not release the children of Yasharel, as Yahuwah had said through.
So that is the end of our Sabbath reading. We hope that you guys all found something awesome in it, and we hope that you guys all are seeking our Creator, where He's able to be found. You know, He is He's around. He's around all of us. He is. It's obvious when you start reading Scriptures, when you look at creation, when you look at all of this, and He has a plan. He has a purpose for all of us. There isn't. I don't think that He just created all of this for naught. I believe what the Scriptures say, from front of the book to the end of the book, along with all of the extracurricular books. I believe it all. I believe every last bit of it. And I hope that there's others out there that truly believe and are willing to serve our Creator and willing to obey Him, because it is worth it. Every single day, it is worth it. We may get challenged. We may have Hasatan that comes and tries to destroy our lives all the time. But in the end, we have eternity to look forward to. And these 80 years or whatever years that we have to be alive on this earth, they're going to come. They're going to go. They're going to pass before us. And we need to make every last bit of difference that we can make, seeking the kingdom and trying to get to where we have while we still have time to do it. So with that, everybody, we let Jade. Why don't you bless the people and give us our Aaronic blessing, please?
And Yahuwah spoke unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, saying on this wise, you shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, Yahuwah bless you and guard you. Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Yahuwah lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them.
Okay. All right, everybody. We love you all. Thank you again for hanging out with us. Thank you for being a part of this little reading, and we will kick it off with "We're in the Heavens." Much love to you guys.
Heavens and come down. Oh, that you would rend the heavens and come down. Oh, that you rend the heavens and come down. Let the mountains shake, let the earth be moved, let the nations may tremble at your presence. Let your fire burn, let the waters boil, let your name be known to this generation, and come down. That you would rend the heavens and come down. Oh, that you would rend the heavens and come down. Will you restrain yourself any longer? Don't hide your face in your anger. When Jerusalem is oppressed by the nations, the place of your throne, a desolation, come down. Heavens have come down. Oh, heavens have come down.
All right, everybody, we love you very much. May Yahuwah bless you and keep you. May his light forever shine on you. May his grace forever shine on you. May his sun forever shine in your life, or may his ways forever shine. Much love to everybody out there. We hope that you have a wonderful week, and we love you all.
All right.
Shalom, everybody.
Shalom.